What up, peeps? Hey, man, Texas beats Arkansas in Arkansas 20-10, man. Crazy game. Texas defense, man, was just truly outstanding this game, man. But hey, folks, if you like this content, man, come in here, leave some comments here. It's the official post-game show for Texas versus Arkansas. You got myself, Nick Battle, aka Ninos Corner. You can catch me anywhere at NinosCornerSports.com, Twitter, everywhere. Instagram is just going to be Nino's Corner. But hey, man, catch me there, man. Let's get some nice comments up here and let's talk about this Texas win against Arkansas. The Texas defense showed up and they showed out today. Two players I really want to highlight, man, was Barron. Man, Barron is he's a dog. Him coming back this year was just truly outstanding for this team. And it was something that this team needed and something that he actually needed to as well. And also Alfred Collins, so we'll break that down here in just a second on just how important that was for those two guys to actually come back and why it means so much to this team this year on their quest to go win the SEC this year and also compete for a national championship. The Texas offense was a little stalled today. They got out to a 10-point lead. They held that. They went into halftime with a 10-point lead. And they just didn't get it moving the way that they should. A couple drop balls here from a couple guys, guys that are usually pretty sure-handed. So Gunnar Helm had a ball today that was right there. Quinn put it on the money. Gunnar drops that ball. If Gunnar catches that ball, it's easily a 30-yard run possibly. But, it really didn't matter in the long just term of the game here, because on the next play, or actually two plays later, one of the two, Texas end up, passing the ball for I think about 10 or 15 yards, and they got that first down. But this team, they need to play better on offense. Something is not clicking with this offense, which is weird. The secondary for Arkansas is abysmal. Texas could not pick on the secondary. Had a couple balls here today that were thrown out there that should have probably been put on the rope. I think Quinn kind of lofted him a bit much, and it put it in a position where Matthew Golden was going for the ball. I mean, he was wide open. If Quinn puts it on the rope, it's a touchdown. It's going for 7. He kind of lofts in the air, and the ball got batted down by Arkansas. Also on the first drive, Quinn threw a ball that probably should have been picked off too as well. But neither here nor there. Texas wins the game, folks, 20-10. Going into Arkansas, hostile territory, down there in Fayetteville, as we used to call it, man, but Fayetteville, Arkansas, but great win over the team. But let's talk about just the defense in general and what we saw today. What we saw today was Jahdae Barron has come out and he has asserted himself as one of the top defensive backs here in the country. He's the guy that is going to be on the Thorpe Finalist Awards for a reason. Has a great opportunity to actually win the Thorpe Award, just like so many long list of guys here from Texas have done. The Aaron Rosses, the Huffs, just like the list goes on just how many players have actually won this award. Bringing it back to DBU. Barron has earned himself a lot of money. Plenty of folks thought that Barron was going to leave last year and go to the draft and be a 3rd or 4th round pick. He decided to come back, and you see Barron now is playing the boundary cornerback position. Last year, he played at the nickel, but it's showing his versatility and how much of a Swiss Army knife that he actually is to this team. And it's just showing how versatile he is for the NFL. And the NFL is looking at a guy like him. I look like a guy like Aaron Williams, who played here at Texas too for some time, to actually see how this guy can be plug and played anywhere along that defensive secondary. He was outstanding today. He had a tackle for loss. He had an interception. He had a sack. He was all over the place. He got tested today, too, by Taylor Green. Taylor Green throws the ball, and Barron pretty much blows up the play. He has an outstanding play there on the defensive side of the ball. Barron is playing outstanding. He's probably going to be a 1st-round pick, not a 1st-round pick, a high 2nd-round pick. He's making himself a lot of money by coming back to school. Another guy we want to talk about, man, is Alfred Collins, man. Alfred Collins, what a game he had today. He's another guy that is a plug and play, who's very versatile on that defensive line. Play inside, he can play outside as well, but he has made his money over the last couple of weeks playing on the inside. 2 batted balls last week against Florida, which actually went for interceptions. Today, he had a forced fumble, another batted ball. He's just an outstanding player. You're seeing the effort in him. This is his money year, and you're seeing the maturation process of the players here at the University of Texas and what Sark has been able to do with building upon each year. Each year, we are wondering who is going to be the next guy on the defensive line, who's going to be the next linebacker, who's going to be the next guy in the secondary to kind of just do some great things. And every year, Sark finds somebody to do something. His first year, it's Coburn, it's Ojimo. Second year, you had Sweat and you had Murphy who came in. Well, not the second year, so that's the third year. That's the second year was Ojimo and Coburn. And this year, folks, you're having Alfred Collins and you're having Vernon Broughton. These guys are showing up on tape and they're showing out and they're looking very good. And they're looking at one of the best interior defensive line tandems here in the Southeastern Conference, which is something very good here, for the University of Texas. The Texas defenses has really, really carried this Texas team here this year. Again, only allowing 10 points today. The Texas offense has to get things in motion. You have to trust Sark. Sark is very good at, getting his players in the right opportunities to make right plays. And I just think that we weren't clicking today, and we got to figure out what's wrong. Outside of the Florida game, this team has not clicked at all since the first bye week, where we had OU, and that was Quinn coming back from injury. The next game was Georgia. We did not look good on offense in both of those games. The next game after that was Vanderbilt. The offense looked a little bit shaky there too, even though we won the game. And the next game after that, folks, was Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And the offense was clicking, but Florida was playing a lot of backup players there in that game as well. Texas, hey, man, we got to do better. We got to do better. However, it is a win. I'm not going to say all is woe and, it just is what it is. But the Texas team, if we're going to progress and we feel like this Texas team can play in the SEC championship game, which I think that they are set up perfectly to do if they win the next two games, Kentucky and then Texas A&M. And, folks, Kentucky is not a slam. I mean, that's going to be a hard game, folks. And I don't think people realize just how hard of a game it's going to be. And then also playing in the rivalry game against Texas A&M, which is going to be out in outstanding atmosphere at Cal Field. Going to be a very dangerous game. Sark's going to have to be in his bag for that game. But, look, Texas can do it. Texas can do it. Texas can win out. If Texas wins out, Texas is in the SEC championship game. And I think Texas will probably be favored to win that game too. Texas is just playing really good ball. I wouldn't say really good ball, but Texas is playing good ball. And I think that they would be favored just against just about anybody that they play here in the SEC. A couple teams, Ole Miss and Alabama. Ooh, looking good, especially Ole Miss. Ole Miss, what they did last week to Arkansas, you kind of figured that Texas would be on that same kind of glide scope to do the same thing. They weren't. So it is what it is. Let's get some game balls out to just a couple people here too outside of the defense. Let's talk about the offense for a minute. Look, I want to talk about Matthew Golden. All he does is catch touchdowns. He is the Chris Carter here he's the Chris Carter of the SEC. He leads the SEC in touchdown catches with 8 touchdown catches today, folks. Well, not today, but for the season, 2 today. But he is the Chris Carter here for the SEC, the Chris Carter here for the University of Texas. All he does is catch touchdowns. He had 2 catches for 21 yards, both of them being touchdown catches. Way to go, Matthew Golden. Next player that I want to talk about, folks, is Silas Bowden. Silas Bowden getting that punt return, folks, on the 2-yard line. Kind of scared, but Silas Bowden does Silas Bowden things, and he is truly outstanding when he gets his hands in the ball. One thing that I want to talk about with Silas Bowden, what I saw today, Silas Bowden came in for DeAndre Moore, and he kind of played the slot role, and I didn't see a lot of DeAndre Moore going forward from the second or third quarter on. Silas Bowden got a lot of those snaps. And I wonder if Sark doing something because he wants to have more players that are explosive, in nature to come in and play. And we know Silas Bowden is one of those guys who's truly explosive here for the Texas offense when he gets his hands in the ball. Isaiah Bond is Isaiah Bond. He came up with a big first down catch there in the fourth quarter on that last drive where I think Texas had the ball. What about 5 minutes to go? And they ran the clock all the way down. Nilled the ball. Victory formation is what you want, but they killed the last 5 minutes of that drive. With the last 5 minutes of that quarter to actually close out the game. Another thing I want to talk about, man, Jaden Blue had a pretty good game too as well. 14 carries by 83 yards. And he had that one fumble. Luckily, it went out of bounds. Jaden Blue ran the hell out that ball. Uh, I knew it from the start. I knew it from the start when he was running. He was running and carrying that ball like a loaf of bread, and the defender came from behind. I knew it was going to be his fumble. I just knew it, but luckily he was on the sideline. The ball was in the right hand, which is on his left hand because he was on the left, hash. And when the ball fumbled, it went out of bounds. So good to see that that didn't hurt us. But Jaden Blue had a really good game too as well. Also on that 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 14 pass, or will play. Jaden Blue ended up getting a screen pass and took it for a first down, lengthened out that drive there in the 4th quarter. He had a good game, man. Houston Klein product. A lot of people understand Jaden Blue. He didn't play a senior year of ball there in the state of Texas. He actually sat out that year. But Jaden Blue, man, was the #1 running back in the country as a junior. Didn't play a senior year, and a lot of people kind of forgot about him. Texas didn't. They still held him. Got him here on campus, and we're seeing just how fast a player he is, just how good of a player he is. I remember when we were scouting him and looking at his film here when he was in high school. One of the guys had some really great balance when he ran the ball. It was hard to get him down, and he was almost like a ping pong ball, man, when you're trying to tackle him. But he had a really good game. Trey Wisner too, man, as well, man. Trey Wisner, he's another dog. He's another beast. 17 carries, I think 59 yards. But he caught the ball well today as well. Ran the ball well, so ran it very effective. Those two guys were the highlights of the day when it comes to the running game. Minus, I will say, the one running play that was very shocking and very good on the 4th and 1, 4th and 2. RPO. Quinn acts like he's going to hand the ball off to Trey Wisner. He tucks it himself, takes it around the left tackle for a first down, ends up closing the game out. Way to go, Quinn, on that. But when we're talking about the game, nothing really exotic here from the offensive side of the ball. It was just kind of business as usual. Texas just has to get some things cleaned up. So we're looking at some comments here. We got a comment from Ab125. He says, been a Quinn supporter. He says he's been a Quinn supporter the whole time, starting to seriously question it. He looks hesitant and not on the same page with his wide receivers. Also has lost his ability to extend plays. Interesting, very interesting. Quinn has not played the best, man, over the last probably 4 weeks. And that's something that a lot of us have been talking about on the back channels about Quinn. It's just, it's almost like I'm not saying that he's regressed, but maybe the confidence isn't there. Gunnar Helm kind of said it a couple weeks ago too, that when he gets that confidence back in him, he's going to be the Quinn that we've all seen. But that's something that we need to see more of, is a confident Quinn that's going to be able to make the plays and do great things. Yeah, but good comment there, Ab. I think Quinn, he hasn't lost all his ability to extend the plays, man. He had a really good play today where I thought he was sacked. I thought he was down and sacked. Quinn actually extends that play, gets the ball out to Silas Bolden, who actually dropped the ball, but he got it in there between 2 defenders, and it should have been a first down. So there are instances and plays where Quinn has been able to actually extend the play, a la like in their 4th and 2, where he runs and he gets that first down to close the game out. So it's not all gloom and doom, but there are some things that Quinn can do better, just to make sure that this team reaches its ceiling and reaches its height. As the team, is actually constructed right now, this team has all the pieces and all the players to compete for the SEC championship game, and I think that they will. They have all the players to go to the college football playoffs. What this team is lacking right now is this team ready right now to compete right now and win a national championship? Some people say yes. Some people say no. I think that this team has the opportunity to do it. I think the beauty about this 12-team playoff and the beauty about what's happened with NIL as of lately is that there are not many stacked teams. Anybody can get beat any day. Anybody can get it, man. And you're seeing it. Alabama got beat by Vanderbilt this year, folks. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. Alabama got beat by Tennessee. Tennessee got beat by Arkansas, right? I mean, Arkansas is 5-6 right now, right? Or 5-5 right now, right? So Tennessee is the number 6 team in the country, and they got beat by Arkansas. All right? I don't think they were able to put up no more than 14 points in that game, or 13 points, one of the two. But anybody can get it, right? Anybody can. Boise State's a dangerous team. They're a team that can play against anybody, I think, in the country, especially with Genty running the way that he's running. Other teams that are going to be explosive are teams like Colorado. Yes, their defense might not be the best. Their offensive line might not be the best, but when you have special players that play in special positions, you're able to potentially win games. That's what is the beauty about NIL and what it's done to the college football game, and also the beauty about this 12-team playoff is that we're going to see some great matchups, and we're going to understand who's who and who's going to be the teams that should be there and shouldn't be there. Texas can compete, I believe, to win a national championship this year. I don't think there's any team that is just overly strong and overly great to not be dealt with. Taylor Green has been running the ball extremely well this year for Arkansas at the quarterback position. What did the Texas defense do? They wrangled all that up. And I loved it. Taylor Green was neutralized this game. You know what I'm saying? So Gallo Zaniga says it was a good win against a gritty rivalry, and I totally agree with that. I think what people understand too is, and I don't want to sound cliche when I when I say this, but Texas is, for a lot of teams, this is their most important game that they have circled on the calendar. And if you're a Texas fan, you want that. And if you're a Texas player, you want that. That means that your team is good enough to where people want to showcase that they belong on the field with you, right? Texas is the number 3 team in the country, folks. Every game that they play, they are going to get the best shot of everybody that they play every week. And Arkansas, just like you said, is a gritty rivalry, a rival that a lot of Texas folks that weren't in the old days of the Southwest Conference or didn't see when Arkansas went to the SEC, when Texas was in the Big 12. When Arkansas came back with Matt Jones and played Texas in DKR, they didn't see how much of a rivalry that was. I think we got a little glimpse of it in 2021 once we went to Fayetteville and played that game and saw how the fans were just overly dedicated to making life hell for the University of Texas, the fans and the players. But now I think what is coming to the SEC, we're starting to see some of these rivalries renewed. We always knew that Texas A&M was a great rivalry, but a lot of people, even players now, don't really understand the depth of the Texas versus Arkansas rivalry that we've been accustomed, been used to from years previous and years past. So great rivalry game, great win against a rival. And that's something that you got to love from this Texas team. They showed their strength. I was talking to a good friend of mine on the podcast today. It's on the podcast today, man. Shout out to Inside Texas. Probably the best, not probably, it's the best place to go get your Texas news and your Texas content, man. It's going to be Inside Texas, man. They got a great website there. But I was talking to some good friends of mine, Homer, Coach Dub, and also Orlando, and we were talking about just how big of a rivalry this is, but also not just how big the rivalry is, but we haven't seen Texas really get tested this year and get punched in the mouth and then come back. This is a game where Texas had control of the game at 10-0. They get punched in the mouth. The game goes to 13-7. What does Texas do? They end up punching back, get that lead up to 20-10. So this is one where Texas is tested. They became battle tested, and now you know that you can go into a hostile environment and go in there and win a game. So that is something that Texas has done, and you got to appreciate just how dedicated this team is, and just how focused this team was to win a game like this. Hostile territory while also getting punched in the mouth. The great Mike Tyson said, and I'm saying this by Mike Tyson because he played. Well, he fought last night against Jake Paul, but Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Texas punched Arkansas in the mouth square. Texas couldn't take advantage of some of the turnovers that they got to turn those 3 points into 7 points and really blow this game open. Arkansas punched back. And when Arkansas punched back, what did Texas do? Texas punched back well in the fourth quarter, swung, and just did their thing. Sports now, folks, it's a game of runs. Whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, whether it's a game of runs, and everybody has good players. Texas has good players. Arkansas has good players too. And it made for a very good game and a very satisfying game here for Texas to win this game. Another comment here coming and says, does any team have more rivalries than Texas? Well, Texas has OU, they have A&M, they have Arkansas. I think those are the Texas rivalries. You look at a team like Alabama has Auburn. I think Alabama can easily say that LSU is a rival for them. They've been the most competitive team that they've played. They hate each other. And in Tennessee, I have two sister-in-laws that went to Alabama, and they'll tell you all day long they don't look at Auburn as their biggest rival. They look at Auburn as like little brother, and they look at Tennessee as their rival. You know, they went to school there, and them growing up in the Alabama system will tell you that Tennessee is their rival. I've seen shirts made that say we hate Auburn, we hate this, we hate LSU, we hate Vanderbilt, but F Tennessee. And so every team has rivalries, right? So yeah, Texas has three big rivalries, man. Two huge rivalries in Texas A&M and Oklahoma, and Arkansas is a rival from back in the day in those old Southwest Conference days. But getting back to the game, Texas got punched in the mouth. They had a dogfight today. They came out on top from a dogfight. You got to love what you've seen from Texas today, pulling out that win. This Texas defense has done some great things, man. I love what I'm seeing from this Texas defense. I didn't know if this was one of the best defenses in the country or not. Yes, they are. They are. Yes. They showed up and showed out in every game that they played this year. They're just an outstanding defense from top to bottom. They lost a lot of players and still are able to have a great defense field. We lose, we lose Sweat and Murphy this past year, two of the best defensive tackles we've had here on this team since Hampton and Rogers. And guess what? We just keep plugging along and doing great things. We end up getting, guys like Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton to come into this game and come into the season and do great things. We lose Jalen Ford. What do? We slide Anthony Hill over, and he mans the defense now. And now you put a guy like LaFowl next to him, or a Bender next to him, and you're seeing how this team is doing great things too as well. One thing that Texas did gain this year is some great pass rushers. Shout out to Colin Simmons, man. He had 2 sacks today. Trey Moore had another sack today too as well. This defense is flying all over the field. We had a guy named Ethan Burks last year who was an honorable mention Big 12 player. He's not even starting now. He's a backup player for us now, man. So we're seeing what Texas can do up and down the defense. Last year also from the secondary, we're seeing guys like a Barron who is now down at the boundary where Watts used to play last year, right? And then at the field, you move Manny Muhammad down there to the field side, and he's playing lights out too as well. He's a guy that only be here for 1 more year. He'll do 3 years and he's gone. He has the length, he has the size. He's a great player. And then you're seeing if we move Barron over to the boundary corner position, who's going to field at the star position at that nickel? Jalen Gilbo, right? So you're seeing the development process here at the University of Texas too, and just how great the what's the word I want to say? How great the evaluations that Texas is doing on like some of these players. And then also not just the evaluation, you're seeing the maturation process of these players and the development cycle here at the University of Texas. Derek Williams is a guy that was going to be a starter here this year, and he was. However, he gets hurt. What do? We bring a guy like Andrew Makuba, who we got out the portal, or a guy like number 25, McDonald. I love me some Jelani McDonald. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Next comment says, so many elite players on defense, didn't even hear Hill or Makuba's name called that much of the day. And that's extremely, extremely great comment there. And that's just kind of what we're kind of getting at here, is that a lot of great players here in this defense, man. Michael Taft, man, he's balling out. He's balling out, man. Michael Taft is doing his thing, man, and that's something to be pleased at as a Texas fan, that you got a guy who was a preferred walk-on who's coming on and he's starting for the University of Texas, and he's playing lights out, folks. He's playing good. I want you to go look at some of his numbers, and I want you to kind of compare those to a guy like Caleb Downs. My boy Nash from Nash Talks Texas has some comments about that, and they're very similar. One is a preferred walk-on who got a scholarship a couple years ago, and the other is supposed to be not supposed to be. He's a Thorpe finalist, and he's going to be a first round draft pick one of these days. I think Michael Taft is going to be great value, man, when he goes into that draft in a couple of years. Comment here says that Barron is the man, even better than last year. Freaking exactly. And yes, Taft is a dog, exactly too. Barron, man, I love me some Barron. Just to see how he has come along too. He's from the Austin area. Him and Taft are both from the Austin area. I think Barron came from Pflugerville, right? And of course, Taft came from Westlake. But to see those Austin products coming here and represent the great state of Texas at the flagship university in the state, just says a lot. It says how much these kids want to play on these teams and want to ball out for their squads. But it also shows how the Austin talent is really good as well. Is sometimes it's one of these slept on areas because we do have such great pockets in Dallas, Fort Worth, and in Dallas. You see, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. You see those great pockets of talent, but don't be fooled. Austin has great talent as well, and you're seeing that two of the top players from that area over the last few years, and Taft and Barron, are balling out here. One's going to be probably a first round draft pick here in its upcoming draft, and the other one is a walk on who not only helped us get Arch Manning here, but he has also balled out, earned his position as a preferred walk on, got here on scholarship, and now starting for the number 3 team in the country. And they're coached very well by Blake Gideon and also Terry Joseph as well. But man, this defense is balling out. Coach PK, I remember him getting a lot of flack when he came here to the University of Texas, especially that first year. People were saying, is he the guy for Texas? I think he has made his money over the last couple of years, and we've seen that with continuity and the development process of these players and guys being in the same defensive system here for quite some time, you are seeing that guys know where to be. Right? Guys know exactly where to be all the time. And there's nothing that is halting and stopping this team from being elite. This team is being elite. They're being good. They're being coached well. And they're understanding that when they do come in the game, they know the assignment. They know where to be. This team is coached extremely well, and they're developed well, and they've been evaluated well. And that's why you're seeing the product on defense, why it looks the way it looks. I want to talk to just so you guys here for a couple more minutes. Did any of you guys notice that Silas Bolden kind of manned the slot position, and we didn't see a lot of DeAndre Moore here in the game? I want to go back and look at the game. Maybe it's something I missed. Was Moore hurt, or did Sark just want somebody that was really explosive to be in the field because he needed that in this game? I can't wait to watch the film again because I want to see exactly what happened and why Moore didn't play much in this game during the second half. I know he caught that first ball. It was like for -8 yards, and I don't remember seeing him too much after that. So if you guys got any comments about that, or if you saw, because I didn't see Moore in, but I was kind of watching the game for different purposes, watching the offensive line, watching the defensive line, and just seeing how those two units were going to stack up against each other. But getting back to Taylor Green for Arkansas, the big 6'6", 230-pound QB who can run the ball extremely well. He can pass the ball pretty well too, also. But just seeing the stats here against Ole Miss, they got thumped, 10 rushes for 16 yards. But today, 16 carries, -4 yards. Way to go, Texas, for getting that guy to have minus yards in the game. Because he has thrashed a bunch of people this year. 79 yards against Mississippi State, 80 yards against Auburn, and the likes, right? 61 yards against Oklahoma State. So he has ran the ball pretty effectively, and he has a long stride. He can run very well, and he's very deceptive in his running. But Texas stopped all of that today. They stopped it all, folks, and that's something that you got to appreciate from this Texas defense. They had a plan to stop them. They did, and I was very excited about that. But Texas wins this game, man. In a game where Texas could have possibly lost this game, but Texas didn't. They held it together, won the game, folks, 20-10. And just very excited about the win here and how Texas has shaken up things here in the SEC. 9-1, folks, in the in the SEC here this year in their first year. 91 overall record, only one loss in the SEC, and that was to Georgia. Even though the defense gave up 30 points that game, that was not a 30-point that was not a 30-point game given up by the defense. They didn't even allow 300 yards in that game complete. But hold on, let's take a look. How many yards did the Texas defense allow this game? Let me add this up right quick, folks, before we get out of here, man. You guys have been great with the comments, man. Appreciate it. That's funny. The Texas defense only allowed 231 yards. That's it for the entire game against an Arkansas offense that was one of the tops here in the country, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Arkansas offensive rankings. Let's go ahead and look at some Arkansas offensive rankings. So I have you guys on prior to us leaving. Total offense before this game. I wouldn't say they're one of the tops, but Arkansas was up there. Nah, they weren't one of the tops. I lied. But it's all good, man. Texas thoroughly destroyed this team. No, I'm not lying. Arkansas was 1, 2, 3, 4. They were the 5th ranked offense when it comes to total offense. 4,349 yards, 483 yards of offense a game is what Arkansas was getting, and Texas limited them to 231 yards or something like that. So less than 250 yards when they're averaging over 483 yards a game. 2,600 yards passing here for the season, and also another 1,700 yards rushing. You look at the rushing yards; they're not one of the tops in the country, but they're up there, folks. They're like top 30. But passing yards, they are again top 15, top 20. But overall, they are a team that is a force to reckon with, and Texas shut that down. So shout out to the Texas defense, man. You guys are playing your butts off, man. You guys deserve it. Texas wins 20-10 against a tough Arkansas team at home, and happy to see it. One more comment here, from Ab. Ab goes, I want to say Arkansas hung 31 on Ole Miss and Okie State, and did all right against Mississippi State as well. Have not been held to 10 points all year, and I think you are right. Against Ole Miss, they hung up 31 points. You're right. Against Oklahoma State, they lost 39-31, and you are right. They were held to their lowest point total was 17 points against Texas A&M. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 17 points. 17 points, and then us. 10 points was the lowest that they put up all season. So this Texas defense is legit, and they did it at home. They did it at home. They shut him down at home. That would be different if they shut him down in DKR, but they shut that offense down at home. 10 points at home. It's extraordinary for this Texas defense, man. But folks, 30 minutes here, man. You guys were awesome. Thanks for the comments. Anything you guys need, man, you put another comment in there, man. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel as well. Go to NinosCornerSports.com and you'll see everything there. But, man, shout out to your Bleacher Report, official post-game show for the Texas versus Arkansas game. Texas closes out Arkansas 20-10. Great win, great team win here by the University of Texas. Great defensive stand here by Texas. Texas offense does have to get some things rolling. They get Kentucky next week. Hopefully Texas will get things in order to be able to put a bunch of points on Kentucky. We shall see. But see you next week, folks, after the game, and see you Friday, man. Bleacher Report show Friday. The college football roundtable with my guys, Ty, Steven, and Jay, and myself. College football roundtable where we do picks every Friday, man. Fun times. And I'll see you post game next week too against Kentucky, man. But hey, if you guys are tuned in here, I know you guys are Texas fans. So man, put them horns up. Put them horns up because Texas deserves it. 20-10 win against Arkansas. Hook them.